Good day, children. Sai Ram. Welcome back to our science class. So, as we have completed the lesson number 9, reproduction in animals. So, we have completed this lesson now, and this is our last part of the session. And today we are going to revise quickly, and we are also going to do some answer the following. So let us start the quick revision of this lesson. Now, you all know now that life continues on the earth because all living things reproduce. That is, produce young ones like themselves. So the stages in the life of a living thing form its life cycle. So all living things produce their young ones like themselves, and so life on earth can continue. So animals reproduce in different ways. So we have studied even that, and most mammals give birth to their young ones, and animals, so the animals which give birth to the young ones, they are called as mammals. They are called as mammals, and the mothers, they take care of them, and the feed their babies with their own milk. So the animals which feed their babies with their own milk, they are called as mammals. And insects, birds, crocodiles, fish, and many other animals lay eggs. So the eggs hatch and young ones come out. Young ones come out. The eggs hatch and young ones come out. So how do they come out? So we also learnt about the structure of the eggs, and we learned how the babies develop inside the egg and they come out. So in this, many birds lay their eggs in their nest, and the female birds lay their eggs. And in the center of the egg, there is a yellow part portion that is called yolk. And inside that yolk, at the top, there is a developing baby. It is called the embryo. There is a red spot in the yolk on the top of that yolk. So that is called embryo, and it contains food for the embryo. And the surrounding of the yolk, there is a white portion that is called albumen. So I have showed you the structure, the picture of the egg, and all the parts, how to label the parts. So it protects the embryo and provides water and protein to it. And once the eggs are laid, the parent bird, that is the mother bird, sits on them. Why it is sitting? To keep the eggs warm. That period is called the incubation. That period is called incubation. And the baby birds start growing inside the eggs. And after a few weeks, when the baby birds are fully developed, they break open and they come out. And the mother bird, the parents bird, both the parent bird, mother and father bird, they take care of their young ones because they are so weak when they come out of the egg. So till they look after themselves, the parent birds take care of the baby birds. And now all insects lay eggs. So the young ones of insects pass through several stages before changing into adults. So like a cockroach I showed you, butterfly I showed you, right? So they all pass several stages before they change into adults. And so what about the frog? So how many stages it takes, the life cycle of a frog? The eggs are laid, then it becomes tadpole, then it becomes a young frog, and then the adult frog. And in the same way, the cockroaches, they also lay eggs, and from the eggs, a nymph, that is without the wings, the baby cockroach comes out, and that is called nymph, and then it develops into adult cockroach. And what about the butterfly? Butterfly also lay eggs under the leaf, and then it caterpillars, yes, and from the caterpillars pupa, the shell like thing is called pupa, and inside that shell pupa, then it develops into the young butterfly, that is adult butterfly. So all these things you know now, and you also learnt about some other animals which lay eggs like fishes, crocodiles, then we learnt about the difference between butterfly and the moth. So all this we learnt. Now let us go to answer the following. Why do all living things reproduce? So why do all living things reproduce? Because life on earth can continue. So all living things reproduce so that life continues on the earth. If the living things does not reproduce, then the life on earth will stop. Nothing could be seen on the earth, right? So if you are thorough with all the parts of this lessons, you can answer any type of questions. And what do mammals feed their young ones with? So it feeds their young ones with their own milk. So the mother animal, the female animal. So mammals feed their young ones with their own milk. So the animals which feed their young ones with their milk is called the mammals. Number 3, where do crocodiles lay their eggs? So where do crocodiles lay their eggs? Yes, I showed you the picture also. Yes, in the pits and in the sandy river lakes to lay their eggs. So crocodiles dig shallow. So they make the shallow, they dig the ground. So and then near the river side or the lake side, and then they lay their eggs and cover the eggs with sand, grass and the mud. That is why crocodile lay their eggs near the rivers or the lakes. So what are mammals? How do they reproduce? So mammals are animals that gives birth to babies, and they have the ears. So the animals which have their ears, they reproduce like the young ones like themselves, and the animals which do not have the ears, they lay their eggs. So mammals are animals that give birth to babies. The babies are formed inside the body of the mother, where they stay for many weeks or months before being born. Mammals care for their babies and it feeds with their own milk. And number 5, describe the life cycle of a cockroach. So in your textbook, the pictures are given. The life cycle of a cockroach, the life cycle of a frog, and the life cycle of a butterfly. So you should be thorough with it. So in your exam, anything will be asked. So practice the pictures, practice the diagram. So describe the life cycle of a cockroach. So cockroaches pass through 3 stages in their life cycle. The baby cockroach that hatches out from an egg looks like the adult cockroach. So as soon as the baby cockroach comes out of the eggs, it looks like the adult cockroach, but it does not have the wings. It is called a nymph. It is called a nymph. Then it sheds its skin several times and changes into an adult. So day by day, so day after day. So when the nymph starts growing, it sheds their skin. Means the skin comes out from the nymph and slowly the wings started developing. And finally, it will look like the adult cockroach. You know the cockroach can fly, not very up, above. It flies in a little distance. So explain the uses of albumen. So albumen, where you can see inside the egg. So the albumen protects the embryo. So inside the egg, the white part is called the albumen and the yellow part is called the yolk, and in the yolk there is an embryo. So to protect that, and from that embryo the baby develops. So the albumen protects the embryo and provides water and protein to the embryo. This is very, very important. Number 7, how do birds hatch their eggs? So how do birds hatch their eggs? So by incubation, right? So they sit on their eggs to keep the eggs warm. So after the eggs are laid, the mother bird usually sits on them to keep the eggs warm until they hatch. Until the baby birds break and come out, the mother bird sits on them and makes the egg warm. So that is called incubation, right? And number 8, name 2 animals that lay eggs. Here anything you can write, otherwise the options will be given. See the option very carefully and then click the right answer. So name 2 animals that lay eggs. Frog and fish are the 2 animals that lay eggs in water. Or number 9, what is a tadpole? What does it look like? Okay. So baby frogs are called tadpoles. They look like the little fish. So the baby frogs are called tadpoles. And how do they look? They look like the fish. And here name 2 animals that lay eggs. And I think we can in water. So here name 2 animals that lay eggs in water. So do not get confused. So frog and fish are the 2 animals that lay eggs in water. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next question. Number 10. What do you think will happen if the hens stop laying eggs? So what do you think will happen? The reproduction will be stopped and it will not exist only in the world. So if hens stop laying eggs, there will be no more hens. There will not be hens anymore. And after few years, the whole species of hens will become extinct. Means it will disappear. Now can you see dinosaurs now? No, it does not appear itself now. It has become extinct. Okay. Now name the stages in the life cycle of the following animals. So what are the stages of the butterfly and what are the stages of the cockroach? So for the butterfly, so this you are not going to mix up. You are not going to write ulta pulta. You have to go in order. First is egg, then the larva, that is caterpillar, then pupa, then the butterfly. Okay. So you are not going to write like this egg, pupa, butterfly, larva. So it has to go in order. And what about the cockroach? Egg, nymph, and adult cockroach. So here also the same. You will write in order. You're not going to write nymph, adult cockroach, yeah, egg. You're not going to mix up the order. Okay. So egg, nymph, and the adult cockroach. Number 12. Explain the following. What is called molting and what is called life cycle? The shedding of old skin is called molting. So if you know what is molting, if it is asked, the question may get twist. It may be asked either as the fill in the blank or true or false, or choose the correct answer, right? So you should know, remember what is molting. So the shedding of old skin is called molting. And where do we learn this? Yes, cockroach. What is called life cycle? So all living things grow, become old, and then die. So the stages in the life of a living thing form its life cycle. So the meaning of life cycle is this. And next one, metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis and what is incubation? The process by which some animals like frogs go through several stages to become an adult is called metamorphosis. And incubation, after the eggs are laid, one of the parent bird, usually mother bird, sits on them to keep the eggs warm. This is called incubation. So finally, we have completed this lesson. So go through all the, answer the following and go through all the videos once again and go to the textbook also and get ready for the exam. So see you in the next video with a new chapter. Until then, bye-bye children.